to Bitter Coffee. I am Kelly Coffey. Today in the studio, I do have a special guest. Now, as luck would have it, guess who is available today? Ladies and gentlemen, may I introduce to you...
What up? I'm Derek. How's it going?
Derek.
Woo! What up?
Back in the studio.
Hi, Kelly.
Derek Fanton, how the hell are you?
I am wonderful because I am seated here across from you in the wonderful and newly remodeled Bitter Coffee. I mean, I don't know how new it is since I haven't been here in like a year, but it looks amazing, and I am so excited to be here with you.
Thank you. We did an accent wall because you know I'm a huge fan of an accent wall.
Who doesn't love an accent wall?
And how this accent wall started.
I like Australian myself. Terrible joke. Terrible joke. I'm already coming back.
You're a dad.
Terrible jokes. Yeah, I am.
You're a dad.
The dad joke thing is a real life situation.
I'm into the dad joke.
They just develop. They start falling out of your mouth. You can't help it. I just can't.
Just so everybody knows, we hit the bells at exactly the same time.
There was no eye contact necessary. We knew it was happening. It was perfect. It's like riding a bike.
It's like riding a bike. There you go. I was a little late on that one. You got there before me.
But yes, it is
Christ.
Absolute pleasure to be here.
So the accent wall, what happened was I don't want to brag too much.
Mm-hmm.
We have an on-air sign now in the studio.
We sure do. My goodness, it looks amazing.
And lo and behold, when you leave me to do any like minor project, it ends up with like an extra hole in the wall. And then if you marry a house painter,
right,
she will fix that hole in the wall because you misdrilled.
I mean, listen, I got to catch up, okay?
you end up painting the wall the same color that you've painted next to on your living room.
It adds a nice bit of synergy. I don't know anything about Feng Shui, but it feels like the vibes are good in the
Is
in
Feng
the wall.
Shui a color-based thing?
It's a vibe thing, I want to say. I don't know anything about it. I think it's spatial rather than color, but that's okay.
Yeah, okay.
I'm already not using it right, so I might as well go all in and just say like, oh, the color of that wall is very Feng Shui.
Right. No, it sounded like you knew exactly what the hell you were talking about.
I'm sure I'm pronouncing it wrong, all of those things.
It's good to have you here.
Wonderful to be here.
I have tried. It's been a weird couple of weeks. I've been trying to stay on a regular schedule. The podcast hasn't really happened for a host of reasons. I was not myself for a couple of weeks. Found myself. I mean, I'm better now.
Okay, good.
A week ago, I started feeling better.
Good. You seem like you to me. So
that means a lot.
Good.
I was like laying on the couch a lot and sleeping at weird hours, watching a lot of TV.
Well,
and I was finally diagnosed.
Oh, tell me more.
Olympic fever.
Ew.
Yeah, I spent 2 weeks just watching the Olympics.
You know, I love the Olympics so desperately. I have been one of those people who every single time the Olympics are on, I'm watching it summer, winter. I don't care.
You don't care?
I don't care. I will find something to love. Now, there are things I love more. Curling, obviously, is my thing in the Winter Olympics. I found that this year was tough because I didn't know where to watch anything. This would be my first Olympic experience without any kind of cable package. I also don't have, what is it? The one that you could actually stream everything on?
Hulu.
The Hulus, yes. And
I have the Hulus.
Yeah, so we watched it sporadically. I watched a lot of YouTube like recaps of events.
Okay.
This was the first time I'd done that, and I gotta say, kind of the way to go. Like for the events that I don't love, like the archery event, I had no idea how long that goes on. There's like 10, there's a lot of rounds.
There's a lot.
And so being able to watch like the guy who won the singles like in 4 minutes watch his journey to the championship, that really hit home for me.
Makes sense to me.
But what were you, so you were fully in all the time though. And with the time difference of, nice. And with the time difference, of course, like that probably meant you were up at weird hours watching the Olympics too. I mean, for you, that's
for me, weird hours.
Weird hours in view are semi-synonymous these days.
What I tried to do, I tried to stay away from all social media, like more than usual.
Yep.
And
God bless you for that.
Right?
On many counts.
It didn't really work out too well, but I made an effort.
Yep.
So when my day would kind of start, it was like evening
right.
in Tokyo.
Right.
So I would try and and I kind of had the same problem as you. I'm sorry, same challenge as you. I didn't know where to watch because before the Olympics started, they had this thing on Hulu. You could pick the events that you wanted to watch. And I just assumed they would tell you, hey, Kelly.
This is on.
The swimming people are on.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Or the badminton people or whatever.
We could go 20 minutes on badminton. One of my favorites.
God. It's insane. And okay, so that just meant like they knew like what sports I liked.
Right.
Didn't mean that it was going to prompt me to do anything.
Sure.
So the last Olympics, 2016, you could watch them on like regular TV, regular cable.
Yeah.
Alternatively, you could watch them on a Canadian channel.
Oh, okay.
Where there wasn't really a lot of talking. It was like, hey, you guys, here's the swimming.
Here's the event. Enjoy it.
And, that guy's doing really well.
Nice.
Look at him go.
Just checking in here to say, that guy's a hell of a swimmer.
Right? We have a first place winner, we have a second place, and a third place, and they're all going to get medals.
But really, everyone did great.
Right,
I'm assuming
because
it was a
Canada.
Canadian channel. Right,
Yep.
right. Yeah.
So I lost my train of thought. God,
so that was how you watched in 2016, was you had the ability to watch it on multiple places.
And I've always loved the opening ceremony.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
But this year, it was weird because, and I'm going back a million years to when I started, actual number, to when I started watching the Olympics opening ceremony.
Legitimately prehistoric Olympic viewing.
Yeah. It's like me and the dinosaurs and like Betty White, whatever. And Madonna.
Welcome to the Mesozoic Olympics. Uh-huh.
What would that theme music sound like? So I've always appreciated the opening ceremonies because it's like an acid trip.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh,
Every single opening ceremony, it's like, wait a minute, they just took the entire stadium and now they're flying across the world.
Right. And the thing I love about that is that you can easily explain it away as like, well, this must be culturally resonant for insert host country. But I don't know that. Like,
No
it could
idea.
just be somebody's crazy fever dream of, you know what we should do? We should like fly a sled from the top of the building through a tunnel. And when we goes through the tunnel, the whole stadium should like explode in lights.
Yep.
And then, all of the people who aren't there because there's literally no one there will cheer.
And then when people look under their seats, magically there's 5 pounds of candy.
Right, exactly.
That wasn't there 5 minutes ago.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They throw the candy in the air. Turns out candy's drones. The drones fly off.
You get a drone.
Symbol.
You get a drone. Everybody gets a drone.
That is the way of the world these days.
But this year, and I will say that I did tune in early because they had it on in the evening. I'm like, oh no.
Right. There were
I'm
two
watching
different
this
options.
in real time.
I want to watch it live-ish.
And it was, you know what? Just, do what you want to do.
Right.
No, you don't have to wear a costume or anything.
No.
So we're going to dance around a little bit.
Uh-huh.
And then we're going to stand solitary and be really sad to kind of mark how much this last year sucked.
How everyone is feeling. We're going to embody that.
And then I guess, I don't know, we'll spread the infection throughout Tokyo and maybe win some medals. And there was a phrase that I forget about this every 4 years. And it's a word that I hate.
Okay.
Meddling. Is she going to meddle? Oh, yeah. I don't know if she's going to meddle.
But see, I love a homonym, as I'm sure everyone is aware. And what's fun about is she going to meddle?
It's because you're human.
Yeah, exactly. I'm a person in this world and therefore love a homonym. I would prefer an Olympic event in which there were medals, people who medaled, as in they won a medal, but then there were also meddlers who, like, during the hurdles, they just, like, throw a ball on the track. Those are the meddlers.
Or, like,
people are meddling.
Bag of marbles.
Exact bag of marbles, banana peels aplenty, whatever. Yeah.
Yep.
So there's meddlers, and then meddlers.
Yeah.
I love that concept when you say medal. But
So
that word bothers you inherently. It's just not a great.
And I think this is why. Because I don't know, because everything bothers me. But I think part of it is because when I was watching the diving competition, like this dive was perfect. I can barely get out of a chair without like twisting something or hurting myself or like complaining.
Yeah.
Or like, I don't know, sweating.
I will fall out of a bed badly.
Absolutely.
And it's a mess.
And this person does this like perfect dive. And I'm like,
this like 13-year-old person too.
Right. Who's like blind.
Right.
And has never, done anything but dive.
Been training for 25 years somehow. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, that was a bit splashy. She's not going to get a medal. I think I didn't appreciate how, and I was talking to Michelle about this. It was the one night that we watched the Olympics together.
Oh, okay.
And here's why.
I mean, I met you, Kelly.
I'm surprised we lasted that long. I started complaining, go figure, because I felt that the judges were just super judgy.
Really?
Yeah. Well, the commentators.
Yeah, okay.
You know what I mean?
That seems less appropriate.
Yeah.
The commentators are super judgy. Yeah, there's a lot of dismissive. The thing that gets me about the Olympic commentating is that, and I guess this is their job, they commentate in a way that clearly indicates that they understand the sport usually way more than me. To your point about the diving, it's like, that was a little splashy, they're not going to get a medal. Meanwhile, I'm looking at it like, that was the greatest feat of human doing anything that I have ever seen in my life.
Exactly.
And they're like, no, that's like a 6'5" tops. I'm like, what are you talking about?
How do they know?
How do you know? Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, granted, it's pretty impressive that they can be that knowledgeable about it, but I don't need that. Let me make my decision. I want to judge them on my personal understanding of their merit. Everybody gets 10.
Or lack thereof.
Or lack thereof.
You know
if
what
they
I mean?
land on their face, 2.5. I get it. I get that part. But like, if they're displacing 3 gallons of water, great.
It's
great
fine.
job.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't love listening to the commentators either. That's why the Canadian channel seems so appropriate or intriguing to me. Is the channel that's like, here's the diving, and then they dive for a while, and every now and then they'd be like, that one was really good.
Yeah.
No, I know. I noticed. I also saw that.
Or they'll say like, hey, you guys still with us?
Yeah.
We've just been quiet watching the diving.
What do you guys think about this game? Pretty good, huh? Yeah? All right, back to it.
I love a Canadian accent. Here's something weird.
Okay.
You know what this week marks?
I don't.
That's right. My 18th year living in Vermont.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
Congratulations.
I know. Wait. Yes, 18 years.
That's amazing.
Carry the one.
I don't know what the rules are, but I think that your tenure in Vermont can smoke now. You can vote at least.
I can vote.
You can vote now as a Vermonter.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
I still haven't taken up the pot smoking thing.
No? Haven't gotten into that?
Nope. But I did just say smoke.
We're on the Canadian accent still, apparently.
We're like, what, 10 minutes away?
Get a little pot smoking now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is my 18th year.
Wow.
So I moved here, let's see, it was 3 days, and I think I've told you this story like a million times, but I'm going to tell you again. I was under the impression that I started the blackout in New York City. In 2003.
Yeah, this was an early episode story, as I recall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was 18 years ago today.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's cool that you can commemorate it based on that, too. So you'll never forget how long you've been here. It's like, there's a blackout.
Never forget.
Blackout,
yeah, so I didn't leave Manhattan because of that.
Well, allegedly. Yeah.
Right.
You didn't have to get out of the state.
I was asked
due
to
to
leave.
suspicion of blackout cause.
I tripped over a cord and I ruined everybody's day for like 4 days. You get out of town.
It was on the news.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, that was 18 years ago.
Wow, 18 years. So in that 18 years, would you say that like your impression of the state has evolved or changed? Are things different now than you thought they would be when you came here 18 years ago? Are things different? Not just what you thought, but like is the state itself different?
That's a great question.
I'm here for great questions, Kelly.
Wow.
I want to know more about you. Listen, you told me I'd like you to be on the podcast. I shagged ass over here as fast as I possibly could because I could not wait to be on the show. Okay?
It's never not going to make me laugh. So the funny thing is, I'm so old that when I meet neighbors, I have to like write their names down when I get home.
I mean,
my grandmother used to do this.
That's great. That's a great lesson for everybody.
But she'd add a description.
Oh, God.
You know what I mean? Like, ugly lady in yellow house. She would. You know.
Bad haircut.
Yeah.
His name is Joe.
Exactly. Joe and Elaine.
Bad Joe, bad haircut, and Elaine, floppy hat or something.
It's classic Elaine.
They're floppy hats again.
So I started doing that.
Mm-hmm.
So I wrote down shag asses. And then I was like, if anybody ever sees this, and I don't leave them here, leave them over at Michelle's next to the calendar.
Right.
So I pronounce it Shagoss.
The Shagoss family.
Hey, who'd you see today out on your walk? The Shagosses.
Mr. and Mrs. Shagoss.
Hey, Shagosses, how you doing?
I like it better. I think for shagass, when we're using it as a verb or an adjective,
yep.
I think that shagass is even better.
Or like it's past tense.
Right.
You know what I mean? I had a shag ass over there. Thank God I shagossed. Right? Would that work?
So the present tense is shagass and the past tense is shagass.
Yes. To shagass have shagossed.
Have shagassed.
I have shagossed.
I mean, you know what? I love this so much. That's coming with me forever. The thing I think, I don't know if you recognize this, but you writing down representative items of people and that's how you remember them. You think of that as like, oh, I'm so old that I do that. That's what people do in their phones.
Right.
Like, everyone does that when it's like, oh shoot, I don't know what that person's name was, but I now have their phone number. I mean, I don't know anything about this because I don't live this life. But from what I understand, people will be in people's phones as like a bar's name because that's where they met them, or like a grocery store, or like one physical feature of them or something because they don't actually know what their names were. So like you doing that, you think it's because you're old, but you're just you're an innovator and a pioneer because you're doing it via pen as opposed to in your phone because you don't need that kind of technology.
I will put Post-it notes on my phone to remind me to do things. Right? It feels like a bridge too far. Feels like a little...
It's a coming together of technologies of a time.
It's a process. Right.
Let me check my Rolodex for that number. Isn't it in your phone? You do you, I'll do me, okay?
Hang on, let me turn off my microfiche machine so I can look at my Rolodex.
I don't know.
For your fax number.
Let me draw a picture of that on my overhead projector. Weren't you talking about somebody going to get their phonograph fixed? You were talking about like this is on the last episode. You were discussing like cranking up a Model T for some reason. I don't remember what you had said, but like I will say that going to get their phonograph repaired destroyed me in the car as I was on my way to work. I love that.
I thought it was a car backfiring.
Right, a car backfiring. I
realized that hasn't happened in about 45 years.
Right. But that's my judge of how old something is now. This is like, if it's something that happened to me 20 years ago, which, for instance, to my colleagues might as well be in the 1900s.
Right.
I work at a company with a lot of young folks. And so, like, going to get my phonograph repaired is my new, like, that's the judge of how long ago something was or how old I am.
So if you were to say to one of your coworkers, like, my Victrola is on the fritz.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have any idea what you were saying, right?
Exactly. They're like, your controller? No.
I said Victrola.
Victrola.
Is on the fritz.
What does Victrola and on the fritz mean? Either or, I'll take a definition.
Let's start with Victrola.
Also, who are you? Why are you talking to me, old man?
Who's Fritz?
Why is there a thing I don't know on top of that poor gentleman? The Victrola is on Fritz? Can you get it off of Fritz?
Call the Shagosses. They'll be able to figure it out for you. They'll fix anything. Anything.
They'll shag ass right down there.
Right over there.
Shagosses.
Right? They don't even need the Model T. So I was watching the other day, maybe a couple of weeks ago. Mm-hmm. I think this was before the Olympics. Maybe I needed an Olympic break. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
I watched Woodstock 99.
Oh my goodness. Yes. I have thoughts.
Okay. I have so many thoughts on this documentary. I want to give a shout out to, and I swear I'm not name dropping. I'm not.
Okay.
Because I haven't talked to him in like 3,000 years.
Okay.
In 99. One of my old roommates and coworkers, Liz Pillay, was one of the folks that was interviewed for that documentary.
Wow.
Yeah, we shared a place in Jersey City with, I think, 39 other people. I don't remember.
It's assumed when you say you shared a place in Jersey City, it's like there were, 38,
there was a lot of people
there? Yeah.
And just to put a timestamp on it, we worked together at Borders Books in the World Trade Center.
Oh, okay.
So going back a couple of years.
Yep.
So I don't want to say it was great to see her because, she was one of the folks, she was working for a record label at the time. So she was there, I guess, kind of for work.
Okay.
And I don't know if I just live in this weird bubble. I knew that there were some issues with Woodstock 99.
Yeah, right.
But I didn't know that they were to the extent that these folks were explaining.
Yeah, I think my impression was not great. That's how Woodstock 99 was. I will say, I bought the VHS tape that was the compilation of performances at Woodstock 99.
Okay.
I'm making on-air air quotes about performances.
I can vouch for you. You are.
So I did buy that because I remember thinking this will be an interesting snapshot of the music scene right now.
Right.
I don't know that I knew just how interesting a snapshot it would be, that the era of 99 as it relates to music would be quite a thing, and a short-lived thing at that. Yeah, that documentary, again, I had no idea just how logistically and culturally a mess that festival was.
Yeah.
I remember thinking, boy, that would have been fun at the time, because that would have been, I would have been graduating high school.
Oh.
So that was definitely a time where I listened to Limp Bizkit. I listened to Korn. I listened to Rage Against the Machine.
Can we talk about Limp Bizkit for a second?
Sure.
There is no band that has less talent.
No.
They were horrible then.
Yeah.
And then I watched Lollapalooza on the Hulus.
On the Hulus, yeah.
Over, I don't know, whatever weekend, a couple weekends ago, whatever. And they sucked there too.
So let me ask you this, and I'm not as much of a musician as you are. However,
I wouldn't go that far.
Can I ask you, does Limp Bizkit suck or does Fred Durst suck?
Fred Durst sucks.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would say that the musicians in Limp Bizkit are kind of bafflingly talented in direct contrast to Fred Durst, who, to your point, has no talent except douchery. I don't know. Is douchery a talent? I don't know if one could say that that's a talent, but he has that in spades.
Yeah.
Whereas nothing else in far as singing or lyricism. So yeah, I'm 100% on board with you.
Okay, good. I thought we were going to fight about it.
No, I was hoping that you were willing to see past Fred Durst, as hard as that can be.
No, I think the guitar player, very incredibly underrated.
Both as a guitar player and a style icon. I will say.
Yeah, with the
a lot going on
the
there.
blackened out eyes,
red contacts.
There's
it's a whole thing.
There's a lot.
No,
Fred Durst sounds like my 5th grade teacher.
Have you seen the recent pictures of Fred Durst?
I have.
And he looks like a 5th grade teacher.
Yeah. He sounds like my 5th grade teacher, Mrs. Terazevitz.
Wow.
Because there's a weird, I don't know, he does something weird with his voice. Yes. But he sounds like he's whining or gasping for breath.
Yeah, he sounds like he's always disappointed in everything he's saying.
I'm disappointed in everything he sings.
Right, it's appropriate because that's how we all feel. No, the Limp Bizkit thing, I look back now on my high school music passions, and I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
I was a victim of marketing in a lot of this. Man, were they popular at the time. Holy crap, were they popular at the time.
Korn.
Yep.
So I knew that there were a lot of things that happened at Woodstock. I knew that there was like the big fire that started. Right. Nobody had any water. And there was sewage everywhere.
Right.
But I didn't know that it was to the extent that it was. And when Red Hot Chili Peppers, another band I don't like, when they came out and played, one of the promoters for the show was like, hey,
Right.
Just so you know, can you calm these people the F down?
Shit is going down and it's not great.
And there's a small little fire that's going on over there in the corner.
Yep.
So they covered Fire by Hendrix and made, everybody just rage. Yeah. So
it seemed like a good idea to them at the time.
It was a stupid idea.
Yeah,
it was dumb.
Yeah, that whole moment in time was just such a strange place for everyone. And clearly this was not the right thing to do. No. Basically just fanning the flames of anger and rage and like misbegotten opinions about how powerful a certain group of people. I'm talking about idiot white dudes.
Right.
That like just causing problems and being morons. My friend group definitely listened to a lot of that music, but also would be like, "What are you idiots doing?"
Right, and that's what I was hoping you would say.
Kind of thing. Right. Yeah, like that was kind of like we listened to the music, but then you'd go and be around other people who are listening to that music, and you're like, "What is wrong with you people?"
Right.
Hang on a second. Is this what this represents? Because I was just like, I thought it was a weird cover of a George Michael song. And that was funny to me and interesting. I like the George Michael song too.
Right.
But this one is just more like energetic and kind of fun. But you guys seem to take this a little too seriously.
Yeah. Well, they interviewed the guy from Korn and he was like, yeah, that was really messed up. At least he saw something that was happening and he couldn't do anything to stop it.
And I mean, there was a little bit of a cop. Jonathan Davis was from Korn was definitely like, I just went to a different place and I didn't know what I was doing or saying because I was just like so into it. There were so many people there.
Right. Like, he did say that.
Okay, I guess I get you. Like, there's a zone that musicians and sports people get into, I guess. But at the same time, come on. Take a little ownership.
But if something's on fire, or if people are being sexually assaulted,
on fire,
it's not like, I didn't know.
Yeah, I had no idea.
I didn't know.
Couldn't possibly.
Well, I'm glad that you watched that.
Yeah, as soon as I saw, although I will say the marketing of that documentary caught me a little off guard because I think there was maybe just a little bit too much emphasis placed on the people who were rolling around in shit. Because that was like the primary marketing that I saw for that. Every preview article and everything was like, that mud was actually shit. Like that was the whole line for promoting that documentary. Granted, that's, I think, from a marketer's perspective, that's definitely the hook. Like that'll get people interested in like, oh, that was not a good scene. It's representative of the sort of larger whole. But at the same time, isn't the story like, this is they talked about this in the lead up to the documentary. They were saying they were going to approach it like a comedy. And then as they got further into it, they realized it was much more of a tragedy. Oh. And like they were going to make fun of all the performers during, that era and like really ham it up in terms of like, look how stupid all these people were.
You and I could do that.
Yeah, exactly. Anybody could do that. They make it very easy.
Right.
But no, they got into it and they realized, okay, this is actually like, this was terrible. Like, let's actually highlight some of these things that were not just comically bad, but also like abusive and incredibly uncalled for and illegal that people were doing during this event.
Right.
I'm glad they went that route because I think that was necessary, especially after all this time. Because I don't think, to your point, I don't think anybody fully recognized how awful that whole atmosphere was.
No, and I think it was. I mean, I don't know how old I was in '99. I don't know. It doesn't matter. I know I was living in New York and like that kind of thing. Okay. Like that wasn't on my radar. You know what I mean? Like let's go to a big field and.
Oh, yeah, same. I was like, boy, that sounds terrible. Let me live outside for 3 days around a bunch of idiot drunk people. Pass. Hard pass.
I watched it just because I saw it as something new that, just added or whatever it was.
Right. As you're like, going through the various streaming options.
Right. Yeah. I had no idea that like there was all this marketing behind it. Right. So then I was watching it and I hopped on the Twitter because that's what a gal does.
Sure.
And
follow along with the tweets.
People were like really, really upset about this documentary and like finally happened.
I was there. I saw this or it happened to me. Yep. Like, thank God somebody's finally talking about it. Yeah. And it was from the Ringer Network too, which I don't know how familiar you are with the Ringer Network, but it's Bill Simmons' production company and he does a bunch of podcasts that I really like.
Oh, I think I met my neighbor around the street.
That's probably why Bill?
Her last name's Ringer.
Oh, I see. I see.
Not the Chagasses.
I was going to say, is she adjacent to the Chagasses? She's Chagas adjacent?
I wish.
No, so that's probably why I heard so much about it, because I follow a lot of those podcasts. They do like the Rewatchables podcast, which I love, which is about movies. Again, you wouldn't be interested. Thanks. But like I've followed his career for a while, so that's probably why I heard a lot about it. But they're going to do more of them. I guess that's this was the first of a series of these sort of like in-depth documentaries about cultural events or music events or whatever that they're going to do.
What do you think the next one's going to be? I
heard that they were going to do one about, or they did one maybe about the big fight at the Pistons game, the Malice at the Palace.
Yeah, that's out.
Yeah, that's out. I think that's also maybe them. If it's not, then they should have, because that's a great, I'd love to know more about that too. I don't know. What else could they do? There's like just so many of these like weird cultural touchstone moments that happen and then they're gone and you're like, what was that all about?
Right.
Which is definitely how I felt about Woodstock 99. So I'm interested to see what they do. It should be cool.
Yeah, should be.
Yeah.
What else have I watched recently?
I did want to hit you up with Talking TV at some point to see kind of what else you were into.
Guess we're doing it.
I mean, let's do it. Let's roll into it. Remember segments? That was the thing I tried to do for a while.
Ted Lasso?
First on the list, yeah. Ted Lasso. Oh my goodness.
So Margot Batesy had asked me several thousand times, have you watched Ted Lasso yet? And I was like, I'm an idiot. I was like, no, not yet. Uh-huh. So I was recovering from my shingles vaccine. And needed to just do nothing.
Yeah.
So, okay, let me back up a little bit.
Okay.
So I went and got my shingles vaccine because I had to.
Mm-hmm.
And first one, didn't have an issue.
Okay.
Second one, the doctor said, or the pharmacist rather, let's call him a doctor. So Dr. Chagas.
He'd appreciate it.
I've just promoted him. You're a doctor now. So if you swing by Walgreens on Shelburne Road, say hi to your family doctor. So he asked if I had a reaction to the first one. I said, no, my arm was a little bit sore. And he's like, well, it's because it's a vaccine. I was like, oh, okay,
that's unnecessary.
Let's not do that.
Tone it down a little.
And
they're all a little, everybody's a little on edge with vaccines these days.
No, doctors are. Jesus.
Goodness.
So I said, no, I was fine. And so this is really great. Mm-hmm. And maybe I shouldn't have done this, but I did. So I got the second vaccine.
The Kelly Coffey story.
Yeah. He said, just do me a favor. I just want to have you, stick around for a couple minutes.
Okay.
So I assumed he meant just sit there.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, do you want me to sit in here or out in the hall, out in the... And he said, no, you can just wander around the store. Just walk around the store for 10 minutes. Okay. So I'm in Walgreens.
Sure. Yeah.
And so when I first got, to back up even more, when I first went and got my first shingles vaccine. I hope
you're all writing this down. I hope that you'll
follow
a chart,
along.
And so you can, it's like Loki with the timelines right now.
Get a pen, get a piece of paper, get your phone, whatever.
To recap, we were at shingles vaccine, then we were at Walgreens, but before that. And then now we're going back a little further. Keep going.
Well, the two are intertwined.
I'm ready.
They're betwixt.
In between.
So when I first went and got my first shingles vaccine, I walked up to the pharmacy and I said, hello, can I make an appointment for a shingles vaccine?
Sure.
Oh, no, I said, I'd like to get a shingles vaccine.
Got it.
She said, do you have an appointment? No. Can I make one? I guess. And I said, can I get one right now? And she said, no, I don't think we could do that. So I went to the front of the store. I grabbed the metal sign from the front of the store that said,
walk-ins welcome.
Walk-ins welcome. And I dragged it to the back of the store and said, well, the sign says that I can.
How big was the sign? Did it make a noise like in Men in Black?
Oh my God, yeah. It wasn't that loud, but okay. I made it a point. Like I wasn't picking up off the ground if I didn't need to.
Sure. And you're stomping back.
Stomping back.
Okay, cool.
And I was very like, well, it says right here.
Hang on, is it glaring? Let me move it for you a little bit. Right here. Can you read it? Can you read it now?
Walk-ins welcome. So, and it was funny because as I caught the eye of the cashier at the front of the store, it was kind of like, oh, here we go.
Here we go.
I don't think I was the first person to do that.
I think they probably are not, they're dealing with a lot of vaccines right now, but not shingles vaccines.
No.
So it's probably that their process for shingles vaccines has changed somewhat.
Maybe a little bit.
But that's not your fault.
It's not my fault.
That's not your responsibility.
I'm just trying to do the right thing.
Just trying to protect yourself.
So after I brought the sign back.
Well, that was kind of you.
Well, I'm not going to leave it there. I'm not an animal.
You should keep the sign back there if walk-ins are in fact not welcome. So do you want me to leave this here? Or should I bring
do you want to get a Sharpie and write walk-ins not welcome? So I can do that.
Un is shorter. Should I go unwelcome? Are you actively pushing walk-ins away?
Walk-ins are not welcome here.
Your kind is not welcome here. Walk-in.
Classic walk-in behavior. So
I need more cowbell.
And then I said, so can I make an appointment now? Do you have your insurance card with you? So we weren't getting off on the right.
Meanwhile, they're in their head going, please say no, please say no.
Right? And the pharmacist is just like, Jesus Christ, another one.
This is why I decided not to be a doctor.
Exactly. I didn't study medicine for this.
I did not study medicine for this kind of behavior.
I'm wearing a white coat. So I just wandered around the store for like 10 minutes. And you know what happens when I wander around a store for 10 minutes? I start buying stuff.
Yeah, you're just making it rain. Yeah.
And I was like, oh, do I need Elmer's glue?
I listened to your Triple B story from last time.
You know what it's like for me.
I do.
And when I'm told to just walk around, like I'm not like, okay, I'll wait.
I mean, it's a great marketing tactic. Hey, anybody who comes in for a vaccine, you tell them to stick around for about 10, 15
and
minutes.
that's exactly what it was.
So
I got all the things that potentially sick people are going to get.
Okay.
I got some soup. I got some crackers.
Nice.
I got some juice.
Fewer for the actual sick people. Good on you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, because I might have a reaction.
You might.
That's what they told me.
Yep.
And I got up to the counter, and the same woman who saw me drag the sign across the store, she was like, "Is this going to do it for you?" And I was like, "Yeah." How about you?
Did this do it for you?
Yep.
Was this good for you? Because it was good for me.
So then I started telling the story about how when I was a little kid, I really liked saltines with jelly on them.
Oh, okay.
And how when I was sick, my grandmother would make me saltines with jelly on them. So then bigger picture, why was my grandmother giving me, oh, you're not well? Here's some jelly. Have some sugar. You'll feel better.
It's called a preserve. I assume it will help.
But here's the weird thing. The woman behind the counter, her mom and grandmother did the same thing.
Really? No kidding?
Yeah.
Is that a thing? I never had that.
I guess it's a thing. Great. I don't know. I had no idea.
It's a very pick-me-up kind of snack for a kid who's sick.
What do you think I did when I got home?
Right. Chips, saltines,
I shagged ass home. Sorry, shagass.
Once you had shagassed home.
Mm-hmm. I had a shag ass out of there. Once I shagassed, I was able to make a plate of saltines and jelly.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I'm disappointed you didn't put it on Instagram. That would have been like, you would have inspired so many people who aren't feeling well to have saltines and jelly.
Well,
next time.
I was all wrapped up in the Ted Lasso.
Right. That's where this is where this started. That's so funny. I had completely forgotten. Welcome back.
Welcome back, everybody.
Welcome back. So we've rejoined the current timeline.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't watched enough of Loki to remember what that's called, but watching the Loki, no, it's fine. It's fine. Ted Lasso, I would just like to say that show, and I've told everybody who is interested in watching this or who has watched it, like the thing that gets me about Ted Lasso is that it doesn't do any of the things that I hate that sitcoms do.
Like talk directly into the camera?
Well, that's one.
Okay.
But also the big thing for me with sitcoms is that there's basically the entire conceit of so many sitcoms is one group or person knows a thing that another group or person doesn't know. Now, the one thing that Ted Lasso does is the boss lady who's trying to kill the team and doesn't tell Ted that that's why he's hired. But like the progression of her getting to the point where she feels bad about that is the entire arc of the show.
Right.
And all of the places where like Ted gets into a situation and you feel bad for him, you never get to that because he's so positive and optimistic that he's just like lets it run off and the show moves on. And I just think the show moves so well and he is so great. And the relationship between, for me, the whole show is about the relationship between Ted, Coach Beard, and Keeley. Like those three people are the show to me.
Yep.
And I just think, first of all, I think goes without saying, best show based on a SportsCenter bit ever. Are you aware that this show was born out of Jason Sudeikis doing a bit of an 8-minute skit about what Ted Lasso was about on SportsCenter like 8 years ago?
Well, I am now.
So he did Ted Lasso as a bit for SportsCenter. It was like an 8-minute video clip. I don't even remember what it was for. I just watched it the other day on YouTube because I hadn't seen it in forever. And then like 8 years later, they're like, we should just do a whole show about that. And it was exactly the same plot. And they even used some of the lines from that 8-minute skit in the show, where it's like the things that Coach Beard says that he says wrong. It's like, that's actually called this, or that's quarters and halves, that whole thing during the press conference. That actually happens in the skit as well. I can't tell people strongly enough, you do not, it's probably better that you don't watch soccer to enjoy this show. I don't know, but you don't need to watch it. You don't need to like soccer to enjoy this. It's just really well written. It's smart. It's super funny. There's some great situations. The supporting cast is spectacular.
I've noticed that when people talk about Ted Lasso, and they do.
Yeah, they do.
That they don't talk about the show itself. They talk about how the show made them feel.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
and I guess that's the point.
It's welcoming.
Yeah.
It's half-hour episodes.
Yep.
Which is wonderful.
Have you started watching season 2 yet?
I watched one episode of season 2 because I had watched all of season 1 by myself.
Same.
And I had talked so much to Hannah about it that she was like, I want to watch this show. So I stopped watching it, and we've gone back to the beginning. I think we're like 6 episodes back into season 1.
Okay.
She loves it too.
Okay.
It's a great show. You know, as you may recall, and you had the opportunity to hang out with her a little bit before the show, we have a baby. She's 2. She takes up a lot of time. There's not a lot of TV watching happening at our home.
Right.
Half-hour show, huge. Clutch to be able to watch a show between the hours of 9:45 when she finally goes to bed until 10:15 when we pass out from exhaustion.
Right.
So we've been watching a lot of that. I will say that the first episode of season 2, I was like, I don't know.
No.
Yeah, I was like, I think the show was such a surprise hit that I'm worried that they're like trying to do it now. Whereas season 1 just kind of like flowed out of everybody.
Right.
And then they put it out and they were like, oh shit, people love this. We better live up to that. And
so it's like wanting to do it versus having to do it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And like
me leaving the house.
Right.
Ever.
Same. 100% same.
Yeah.
I was so looking forward to shagassing down here and doing the show. And then all morning I was like, I gotta leave the house. I gotta leave the house. It's Saturday. Why do I have to leave the house?
Yeah.
But I'm happy to be here. But yes,
same.
I'm hoping that it continues its greatness. It's such a great show, Ted Lasso. I'm so happy that you've watched it as well. Have you kept up with season 2, or are you also?
No, this is what I want to do with season 2.
Yeah.
I want to watch them the way I watched season 1. I just want to binge them.
Yep, that's what my boss does.
Another word for binge?
There should be.
Right? Like
binge had its own life, and it was about being hammered. And I think that it should stay there, and we should come up with something else about how to watch shows.
Like power watching. Right?
I like that so much better. It has such a more positive connotation. Also adjacent to one of my wife and I's favorite activities, power washing.
Oh.
Power washing stuff. Hannah has wanted a power washer the entire time I've known her. We have a condo, so there's not a
What's a power washer?
So it's basically a hose.
And I know what a power watch is.
So it's basically like a hose with a motor. I don't know, maybe. And so
feels right.
It's it like basically forces water through a very small spigot at high pressure, so that like if you wanted to strip the stain off of your deck, you use a power washer.
Oh.
If your car is caked in mud and like even brushing it with the car brush doesn't dig it off, power washer. If your walkway is stained, you've probably seen one.
How did I not know what that is?
I had a feeling you probably did know, you just didn't know that's what it was called.
Funny story.
Okay.
A few years back, Michelle was using a power washer at work. Had to get stitches because she almost took off her thumb.
Yeah, those things can be
are no
dangerous.
Joke.
Right. It's like just less than a water cutting machine, which is something that my company happens to sell computers for. But anyway, it's like a laser jet, but with water.
Right.
Where they like cut stuff out.
It's like a water laser.
It's that, just like somewhat less powerful.
She put her thumb in front of it and ended up getting, I don't know how many stitches.
It'll rip you. Yeah, it'll rip your skin right open.
Rip your hand right
Terrible.
off.
Anyway, yes, power watching, way better than binging.
Yeah.
Yeah, binging feels like you've suffered from something, whereas power watching, well, that's going to be a problem. Power watching is like I'm opting into this and I'm doing it well.
Right.
Yeah, I love it. I love the idea of letting the season finish up and then just watching it all.
Workshop that.
Take that with you, everyone.
I did that with Handmaid's Tale. Probably not the best idea.
That'll put you in a place.
Oh,
yeah, that'll put you in a place.
I also watched Mayor of Easttown. Have you watched this?
No, heard things.
Really good.
Haven't seen it. Yeah, okay.
Really good. And Kevin Bacon and Kira Sedgwick's daughter, Sophie Bacon, is in the show, and she's amazing.
No idea.
Yeah. Because I was watching it and I was like, why does she look familiar? I'm like, because I watch a lot of TV.
Two people I've seen a lot of.
And it was because that's who she was. She's a great actor.
Yeah.
And then I started watching the Pink documentary.
Yes, I've heard great things about that one as well.
Somebody lied to you.
Really?
I don't know. I mean, I want to give Pink a chance.
All that I'm saying, Kelly, is give Pink a chance.
So I've...
Maybe? Maybe.
There's maybe 3 Pink songs.
Yeah.
And there's, Taylor Swift. Okay. This is a great example.
Sure, I've heard of her.
Knew nothing about her.
Mm-hmm.
And then I watched Miss Americana, and I was like, she is a miracle.
What a treasure.
Seriously.
Yeah.
So I wanted this Pink doc to do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, I have to swallow periodically.
Such an impediment to proper storytelling.
Busy.
Just let it fall out of your mouth like my daughter does. She's eating watermelon this morning. I was like, if we ever need a watermelon juicer, just hold her over a glass and job done, because she just lets it all drool right out. So it's fine. Keep going.
I didn't understand. I didn't understand the point of the documentary. It was just, she was like going from place to place, which I get it because she's a musician and she's on tour and stuff. I get it. Yeah. But it was just like, I'm going to order room service. And you know what I mean? Like, and I get that her thing is and this is what I learned. I thought she just maybe like swung upside down and sang like once.
Her whole deal was gymnastics at the show. Right.
Like that's her thing.
Right.
It's not just at an MTV.
Yeah. It's not just for individual performance. Like that's what she does.
That's what she does.
Right.
Well, who can we get to spin from the ceiling?
I heard Pink does that.
I wanted to kind of like suspend myself from the ceiling when you and your family walked in today. And sing, but I didn't have the time.
I wanna swing from the ceiling fan. That's I recognize, but that would be. I wish, if only. Well, then we would have to delay the show by an hour while you got deharnessed,
right? And maybe took a trip to the ED,
right? Got some icy hot going.
Exactly, something. I don't know. But I don't know. I watched maybe half of it.
We're into it, huh?
No,
I'll have to check it out. I'm a huge fan of Pink. And I just think that she's an amazing performer, and I'm disappointed to hear that it was not a particularly insightful documentary. That's a shame, but I'll have to check it out.
Have you watched the Billie Eilish documentary?
I have.
Oh my God. Okay. This could be like a whole goddamn show.
Yeah, I think.
Can I just say that? Okay, like I get it. She has some talent.
Yep.
It is so overshadowed by her really controlling parents, her creepy brother. I won't even get into that.
I mean, his name's Phineas. I don't know.
And now his name is just Phineas in all caps.
Yeah.
But
I call him just Phineas, by the way.
Just Phineas?
Yeah. It's like just Jack. That's how I think of him.
I don't like her as a person at all.
Interesting. Okay.
She seemed I hesitate to use the word, just really bratty.
Mm-hmm.
And like really, really looking for validation from other people.
Yeah.
Part that was kind of cool though, when she sprained her ankle really bad and like, kind of kept on doing the show. Yeah. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
But I don't know. I think the relationship with her family, it without getting into the particulars, I found it a little bit disturbing.
Yeah.
And another thing that I found odd is somebody like Billie Eilish, you'd think that you would have fans kind of coming to your house all the time.
Right.
She lives like
in a house.
In like a neighborhood.
Yeah. Real weird.
It's weird, right?
The thing that got me with Billie Eilish was like, and I think there's been other celebrities like this recently who it just like they show up, and maybe it's because I'm old. This is how I've chalked it up. I've chalked it up as I am not plugged into current popular culture enough that when Billie Eilish showed up, she was like famous.
Big deal.
Immediately.
Yep.
Which felt weird to me. And apparently she had like 2 albums that came out before the album that everyone heard.
Right.
Which I guess is how, many musicians make their way. But it just seemed like she had a rabid, enormous fan base the moment I first heard her on the radio, which was a really strange experience for me. And then obviously she's completely everywhere in pop culture. Yeah, I don't know. I don't find her to be a particularly good singer. And I as someone who already can't hear thanks to years of listening to music too loud, find that if I do want to listen to her songs, I have to turn them way up to understand what she's saying.
Well, she has a weird speech pattern.
There's a whisper element to it, and
there's a pronunciation.
Her intonation when she speaks is kind of interesting. I think that anybody who is subject to that level of scrutiny and fame at that age is going to be screwed up and whacked out. And I have also Billie Eilish, not for me, is like the thing that I always come back to. It's like she's going to be around for years. Everyone is going to talk about everything she does forever. She is the Britney Spears of this generation, where she's inescapable in everything. I know. We were going to maybe pivot there at some point here.
You sound like such a dad. She is screwed up and whacked out.
She needs a role model.
What's wrong with her? She is whacked out.
Gracious. What's her curfew? God.
Where are her parents?
It's true. I do sound like a dad.
Well, you know what? I mean, it's official. I'm never going to have her on the goddamn show. She can forget it.
Just one more bridge burnt by the Bitter Coffee podcast. God. Really getting down there on a list.
The list
Kelly.
goes on and on.
How is our agent producer going to book people on the show if we continue to badmouth?
It's probably going to be like, hey, does this person... Oh, yeah, they annoy you. How about this person you've never heard of? Let's give it 10 minutes.
I want him on the show.
Right?
Play me something. I hate it.
They're stupid.
Okay. So that's the thing. There's been so many of these documentaries on. Real quick, one other show I wanted to mention. The Nevers? Any like vibe on that? Have you heard of that show at all?
No.
Okay, so I want to read you very quickly the description of this show.
Okay.
Because someone asked me the other day, I mentioned it at work, and they were like, what's it about? And I was like, oh, shit.
Do you mean really quickly, like you're going to read it really fast? Or you're going to,
I'm going to look it
really
up quickly.
Short...
And it's also a very short description. So both. I'm going to read it right now.
Okay.
And it's short. But this is what The Nevers is about. And first of all, this first part bothers me. An epic tale. You don't get to decide.
It's not epic.
I will decide if it's epic.
Yeah.
Anyway, an epic tale following a gang of Victorian women who find themselves with unusual abilities, relentless enemies, and a mission that might change the world.
A lot of gray areas there.
That does not tell you anything about the show. I looked this up because I was like,
this is why you have to watch it.
Right. Someone must have a good description of the show. That's the IMDb description of The Nevers. The pieces that I will call out, Victorian, gang of women felt a little aggressive to me. It is a group of women who work in together on things. Does that make them a gang? I never considered them a gang. It's kind of steampunky. It's kind of supernatural. It's got kind of aliens. I think you would hate it.
You said one of the words I hate the most in this entire world.
Steampunk?
Oh my God. Like, I thought we were done with that crap.
We are never done with that crap, Kelly.
And see, I know people that were into the whole steampunk thing with like a fucking top hat.
Monocle.
And a monocle.
Nonsense.
And then like a big Doc Marten shoe. Shut up. Smoking like some weird like mechanical pipe. I don't want to get into it. I don't want to get into it. That show sounds dumb.
You would hate it. Yeah. I want to encourage everyone else to check it out. The Nevers. It's
The Nevers. Well, I'm never going to watch it.
I'm absolutely
That's all I know.
I will say that I put it on my list here to talk to you about. It's a Ted Lasso, which
just
I knew you were going to
fired up.
And then I was like, worked. The Nevers, as I'm typing it, and I'm like, Kelly's going to hate this.
I hate it. Not going to power watch that. Sorry. I mean, I know I'm a little bit harsh, but I don't.
No, I think that was the right reaction.
Telling you what I feel.
That was the right reaction. Wait, before we get into anything else, before I forget, one more comment on the previous episode of the show, because I've been listening to the show. I've been enjoying it. I hope everyone else has been listening to the show too.
Thank you very much.
It's great. You both do a fantastic job. I wanted to mention something about Let's Go Peloton.
Okay.
If I could, real quick. Anybody who hasn't heard it, go back listen to the show. But you were chatting, Margo, about the fact that Let's Go Peloton really got you.
Wait, are we cheering for the bike?
What are you talking about? The bike or
what are the odds that everybody that buys one of these bicycles has the name Peloton?
It seems really presumptive.
Yeah.
So I was listening to this. I was sitting at my desk. I was waiting for my day at work to start, and I was listening through my headphones, and I was like, what a great question. I'm curious. So I Googled Peloton.
Okay.
And it turns out that Peloton is both the name of the bike, but also a group of riders of bikes.
Stupid.
It's called a Peloton. I wanted to immediately write them a letter and say, let's go bitches, way better.
Right?
Way better.
Absolutely.
I don't need the technical term for what I am with a group of people. That's not going to motivate me.
No.
But if I want motivation, I want somebody like, let's go, bitches.
Exactly.
That sounds great to me, and I want to propose that they use that going forward. I just wanted to put that out there. I
appreciate that.
You are, as usual, correct, and they are wrong, and they should change what they're doing.
Just seems more motivational than calling somebody a brand name.
Could not agree more.
And, additionally, I don't like anything that creates an environment where people refer to one another as family. Because one of the commercials, what the guy says at the end? Welcome to the family.
Yeah.
Shut up.
How do you know I want to be in your family?
Right?
And you sure as hell don't want to be in mine.
Ride on my bicycle?
Yeah. I'm gonna do this. You do that.
I'm gonna turn this off and then go have.
We're maybe coworkers. We're not. Maybe we're a team.
Yeah.
I could be talked into that. Not family.
Welcome to the family.
No.
Nope.
Listen.
No, thank you.
Listen, Vin Diesel.
Right.
I'm not interested in Tu Familia.
That's what it feels like to me. It feels like a weird, I can't see. I can get really angry right now. I'm not going to. I just turned away from the mic. Physically turned away from the mic.
This may be a dead end question. Fast 9? Okay.
No.
Okay.
What's left? You know what I mean?
Well, they did it from what so full disclosure.
They're all living in the same assisted living facility. You know what I mean?
Fastish and the kind of disgruntled.
Sort of fast and really angry about stuff they've never quite worked out. 10.
Slow and regretful. Full disclosure, I have distinct memories. I will write that screenplay with you. I have distinct memories.
Snail pace and at peace.
Oh my God. I have distinct memories of going with my college friends, for, again, dating myself here, to see the first one in the theater and leaving the theater. And first of all, seeing just how many street racers actually existed in my immediate vicinity. I had no idea, but they were all parked out front.
Must have been a hell of a time getting out of that parking lot.
I have never been in a scarier parking lot and I hate parking lots. It was terrifying. But I remember being like, I want a street race and I want close friends who I consider my family. Really? I wanted those things as a result of the first movie. Now, where they've gone since then, take it or leave it. And to your point, what's left? Apparently space.
Oh, really? Are they in space?
Apparently. It's a joke that when you run out of things to talk about, we'll just put them in space. But that is, in fact, I guess, what they have done in this movie. I have not seen it.
I would think there would be more Rocky movies than there are Fast and Furious movies. But we have Rocky 6?
I don't even know.
And I want to say that
right.
he, doesn't he get into a fight with, God?
He just punches Jesus in the face.
Which seems like a pretty aggressive thing.
Isn't he a beardy?
Right? But it isn't like his son, because he was like poor.
Well, yeah. So
and then he was rich.
Right.
And then he's poor again. And then he's rich again.
There's the newer movies that Creed, which apparently are very good. I have not seen those either, but they have Michael B. Jordan in them. That's how I say his name, by the way. Michael B. Jordan's name is Michael B. Jordan.
Okay.
So they have him, and I love him. He's great. So I would love to check those out. But yeah, it does feel as though there should probably be more of that IP than Fast and Furious. But like, good for them. Good on them for making that a thing. Good for Mr. Diesel and his production company.
All right.
Like butter, the end of that segment. Smoothest exit ever. All right.
That was silky.
That's how I exit conversations these days. I mentioned to you that I've forgotten how to people. Yeah. I've completely forgotten how to people these days. So I went back to the office for the first time in a year and a half, 3 weeks ago. And
Jesus.
To remind you and listeners, I am the communications manager at my job.
You manage the communications.
I do manage the communications. I do not manage to effectively communicate with any other human being right now because I have completely forgotten how to do it. And it is a learned ability. I can't. That's how I end all of my conversations now. I'm like having a chat with someone as I make my coffee, and then I'm done making my coffee, and I'm like, well,
all right. Well, you saw me. I just like looked away and like started scratching my nose a little bit. All right.
Yes. Stay fresh, cheese bags, and leave the room.
I'm at a point now where I don't want to leave the house. I don't need to leave the house. When I do have to leave the house, I actually have to make sure, like, am I wearing slippers?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
yeah.
And now that we're going back,
do I have a belt on?
Right.
Yeah.
Am I wearing pants?
Right.
And now that we're going back to wearing masks,
yeah,
I can't get into it.
I have one in my pocket. I bring one with me everywhere I go now, just because I don't know what the rules are. I don't know what I should be doing. I want everybody to be comfortable. Like, again, masks are not for me; they're for other people. But I want other people to feel comfortable. And if I go somewhere and someone is wearing a mask, I'm like, I should be wearing a mask. Oh no! Right. And I don't want to be in that situation. I'm already self-conscious enough. But it's
I'm so done with this.
Ugh.
I'm so done. So do me a favor. If you're listening to the show and you're not vaccinated, go away.
Or go get vaccinated.
Just go get vaccinated.
Like, I don't care if that's something that like you've been. I just haven't. The thing that kills me, Kelly, I haven't gotten around to it. Like, that is the legitimate reason for a large portion of unvaccinated. I should really
do that.
As I've now started calling deltoids. That's what those people are called. The people who don't get vaccinated, those are deltoids. Okay. So a lot of the deltoids are just like, I just haven't gotten to it. I mean, I'll do it eventually, but like I haven't gotten around to it.
Yeah, it's like I've been busy.
I could not wait to get an appointment. I remember everyone I was talking to, like, when is your appointment? When is your appointment? When are you getting in there? When are you getting in there? Like, I'm not, my window's not quite open. The idea that there'd be people out there who are just like, I'll do it eventually. It's not the flu vaccine. It's not like, I'll get to it if I get to it. Otherwise, maybe next year. Like, that's not where we are right now.
So cost is not an option. It's not an obstacle.
Right, yep.
And I was at the grocery store the other day. There's a huge sign that's like, bigger than a sign I've ever seen. And you know what, my friend? I've seen a lot of signs in my day.
You know me.
Me
and signs.
Me and my big signs. It said free COVID vaccines today. Like there's
now. Roll up the sleeve.
I'm surprised we can't just walk out into the street and yell like, "Hey, I'd like a vaccine."
I imagine if you trip in the street, you'll get a vaccine as you fall. I think so.
It baffles me, and I can't.
Get vaccinated, please.
Just do it.
We just all want to go back to our like. That's all we want. We just want to go back to whatever normal has become. We'd like to go there, and the only way we're going to get there is together and get a vaccine. I don't think this.
And we had that small window of time.
We did.
It was like 3 weeks.
Yeah, I remember it was like no cases.
I left my house. Yeah. I met Margot and Morgan at Waterworks. Mm-hmm. We had some apps, had a drink, came home, and I was like, okay.
And felt fine about it.
We're great. We're good. Yeah. And nope, not anymore.
I mean, the graph is gross. Like, the summer was a huge mess, and then it was like, look at this, mid to late July. Look at that. Now it's like right back up to where we were.
Kind of breaks my heart.
Anyway, nobody needs to hear any more of that. You've probably heard plenty of it, but like, please just go. Just go basically anywhere that doctors and non-doctors like pharmacists work, and you can get a vaccine.
On that note, thanks for the PSA help there.
I'm
Appreciate
here for
it.
you. I'm here for you. We know that plenty of people are turning to us for how they should live their lives and what they should do.
What do Kelly and Derek think?
I was thinking about getting the vaccine. Let me go ahead and tune into Bitter Coffee, because from what I understand, they lead the way in the nation.
Let's just see what happens. Let's see what they say. I want to thank our sponsors. I want to thank Doggy Styles. Please give them a call. And I had the number written down. Here we are.
Hey!
654-7387. I want to thank Amanda Jones and her, I want to say cottage business. That's not a word though, right?
Cottage industry.
Cottage industry.
And if a cottage is part of that industry, it's a business. Cottage business. I like it.
All right, that works. Yeah. And her cottage industry, Things for Things. You could reach her at 610-733-9158. I want to thank the Pilardi Foundation.
Always. Huge thanks.
That makes this podcast possible. And I want to thank you, Derek.
Hey, I want to thank you, Kelly, for taking this podcast and making great things and continuing to entertain the people. I certainly appreciate it. I hope everybody else does too. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. Let's do it again sometime, shall we?
Sounds great.
Thanks, everybody. We will talk to you soon. Go get vaccinated and take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Fresh cheese bags.